From the heart of Africa, where dreams are born and passion is boundless, a new wave of talent rises. In La Liga, these extraordinary athletes are not just playing the game, they're transforming it.
Dani Rodriguez, the man chasing, it's Lamine Yamal! What a magnificent goal that is!
They shine on the world stage. Watch as they redefine football, inspire millions, and make history. La Liga, where dreams become reality.
Time is power. Our lives are powered by the sun. As the sun rises, so do we. As we trust it to rise and set without any worries interrupting your morning with our hybrid all-in-one inverter, powering our prosperity and happiness.
Sustainable future, breaking the shell. Start time solar.
But also nurture what is dear to us, powering trust and support, empowering us to do things that really matters. Start Times Solar, power your life.
Magic has hit your imagination of TV. A brand new sundial with StarTime's inbuilt technology. New TV innovation with an inbuilt decoder that connects you to both StarTime's antenna and satellite signal. StarTimes Sundial TV, you can enjoy over 300 local and international channels, 1 month StarTimes highest bouquet for free, automatic system update. More benefits, more affordable. StarTimes Sundial TV is available in all StarTimes branches and dealers countrywide. StarTimes Inside, entertainment inbuilt.
From the soil beneath our feet to the tables across the world, agriculture is the heartbeat of Nigeria's future. Yet challenges persist: limited finance, outdated methods, policy gaps, and untapped opportunities. The Green Line is here to change that. A groundbreaking weekly television feature that connects policy with practice, farmers with markets, and innovation with impact. We dig deep into the full agricultural value chain, from land preparation to mechanization, financing, food preservation, exports, and beyond. The Green Line isn't just a show, it's a national development platform. Join me every Friday at 11 a.m. only on Rapid TV, StarTimes channel 176, and online at www.rbnradiotv.com.
My name is Faith Daffer Joseph.
Name is Martha Alu.
My name is Victor Arke.
My name is Divine Alex.
My name is Esther Ben.
My name is Arthur James Bruce.
My name is Godwin Sunday.
I am Ijoma Victor.
My name is Cynthia Agbo.
Josephine Bichu.
I bet you already know that this is
Rapid Television.
In a world where every swipe, click, or tap is shaping our future, technology is no longer a distant dream. It is the heartbeat of Africa and the world at large. From innovations to gadgets to startups and digital lifestyles, Tech Up with Victor takes you round. A show that makes technology simple, practical, and exciting for everyone. Join us every week on Rapid TV as we break down tech trends, spotlight African innovators, and connect Africa's digital story to the global stage. Tech Up with Victor, where innovation meets you.
Are you missing out on interviews, music, entertainment, thought-provoking discussions, and more? Don't sweat it, man. We've got you covered. No matter where you are, be part of the action 24/7, online and live.
Caesar Radio.
On Facebook, it's Rapid FM Umahia. On Instagram, it's Official Rapid FM. And on X, it is Rapid FM 965. Tune in to Rapid 96.5 FM or listen to us live on our website at www.rapidfm965.com or radiogarden.com. Better yet, get our mobile app from the Google Play Store. Catch the pulse of the Southeast on Rapid 96.5 FM, the sound of your city.
Hey, Oyanam, all of radio.
From the heart of Africa, where dreams are born and passion is boundless, a new wave of talent rises. In La Liga, these extraordinary athletes are not just playing the game, they're transforming it.
Danny Rodriguez, the man chasing, it's Lamine Yamal! What a magnificent goal that is!
They shine on the world stage. Watch as they redefine football, inspire millions, and make history. La Liga, where dreams become reality.
Time is power. Our lives are powered by the sun. As the sun rises, so do we. As we trust it to rise and set without any worries interrupting your morning with our hybrid all-in-one inverter, powering our prosperity and happiness.
Sustainable future, making the shell. Start time solar.
But also nurture what is dear to us, powering trust and support, empowering us to do things that really matters. Start Times Solar. Power your life.
A very good evening and welcome to Corero, a platform where we help you unpack Nigerian political issues. My name is Godwin Sunday. Governance and economic development remains two of the most critical pillars shaping Nigerians' future. From fiscal policies to social interventions, decisions taken by government institutions often determine the pace of growth, the quality of public services, and the opportunities available to citizens. Yet, many Nigerians continue to ask tough questions. The first of them is, are current policies translating into real economic progress? The second is, are the government structures delivering transparency, accountability, and inclusive development? And how effective are leaders responding to issues such as inflation, unemployment, infrastructural deficit, and the rising cost of living? Beyond the statistics and beyond the old policy announcement, the real big question and big test to governance lies in its impact on everyday life, from job creation to business growth and improved public welfare. So tonight on Corero, we'll take an overview of Nigerians' governance and economic development, examining the challenges, the policies, direction, and what it means for the nation's future. Joining me on this big table this night is Randy Peter Aka, a political activist, content creator, and social media influencer, and he will be helping us put all of these issues in perspective. Well, we will begin the conversation immediately after this break. Please go nowhere. And you're welcome back. Well, before we went on that break, I told you I'm being joined by the person of Peter Randy. We popularly call him Mr. Peter of Nigeria. For Nigeria. It's a delight to have you on Corero.
An absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Well, before you walked in, a lot of people said tonight is going to be very hot in the studio. Of course, we've had to turn on all the ACs.
Are your ACs not working?
Well, we are turning all the ACs so that we can calm the tension. Yeah. But then it's a good time to talk about Nigeria and its development. But looking at Nigerians' governance and economic development over the years, how would you describe the journey so far for Nigeria? Have we been making progress? Are we still stagnant, or are we even retrogressing as a people?
I think thank you very much for having me once again. The answers are obviously staring we all on our faces. If I was born, in the 90s, and I grew up to shout up NEPA, meaning when power is given to you, it is a thing of joy because you don't see it constantly. And 30 years later, a child that is born today is repeating the same slogan. Then you wonder how you have improved over time. If the legendary musician Fela sang a song like they say, they packed themselves in line standing and all of the issues with police brutality and all of that, in 2020 we still had NSAS. Then we now talk about maybe the Jonathan, let's talk about between 1999 and date. Under the Jonathan administration, we had Occupy Nigeria for fuel subsidy issues, the price of petrol. Today, queues are back. A government took out subsidy. You cannot account for how much was saved from removal of subsidy. Or is it about insecurity, where we're talking about Boko Haram in the northeast, Adamawa, Yobe, and, Borno State. Today, the entire country is a theater of war and blood. And we have government policies that, according to AFP reports, the government is paying, ransom for kidnapped victims. And insecurity has almost become a multilateral economic investment. The more money you pump into it, the more it increases. So I think on all indices of governance, it shows that as a people, we have become even more impoverished with time, where today the world's headquarters of poverty, the dollar is at how much to the naira is how much to the dollar. So it is up to us to decide what exactly are we not doing right. Because as you know, a certain proverb will say, it is insanity to repeat the same action and expect a different result.
Well, interesting. But as an activist, from your own observation, what single governance failure has had the greatest impact on Nigerians' economic growth?
The absolute, tragedy about Nigeria is a lack of accountability. When leaders are not beholden to the people because they do not believe that power comes from the people, they have the capacity to misgovern, to misrule, and then rig themselves back because it is not about the people. There is no country where the vote of the people count, where leaders act as irresponsibly and as reckless as Nigerian leaders. President Tinubu told you that if I do not give you power, do not vote me back in 2027. Do you have constant power today? We said subsidy regime is gone. Is the criminality in the oil sector gone? The money that is saved from the stopping to paying for oil subsidy, where is it reinvested to? Today we have more than 7.2 million small and medium scale enterprises that have folded up. So the tragedy is not just that as a people these issues are happening. It is more that you have leadership that is not interested in fixing them, and the people have failed to secure a system to hold them accountable. So whether you want to talk about the economy, you want to talk about the cost of living, you want to talk about inflation, and especially security. Because I mean, Mr. Godwin, is there any sustainable development that is built? Do you build infrastructure for the dead? Do you build coastal highway for the dead? According to the reports, within the first 1 year of the Tinubu administration, more than 4,500 Nigerians were killed, more than 7,000 kidnapped. By 2025, that number, according to Al Jazeera, has risen to more than 11,000 in a country that is not fighting a war with any external country, just within itself. People continue to die. Today, kidnap for ransom has become a normal thing. And you can hear the National Security Advisor tell you that, terrorists, amongst them, they could have your brothers and you should show understanding. So it is the fabric of governance and society that is being shredded, and the people must get a way to hold public office holders accountable.
Interesting times. But then you've spoken about subsidy a lot, the removal of subsidy.
Yeah.
I think you believe that the subsidy regime has not really worked so far. The subsidy removal has not worked in favor of Nigeria. Of course, a lot of Nigerians would disagree with you that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration have been able to utilize the subsidy. But then it's coming from the subsidy angle. What is your how will you react to the whole subsidy removal?
Who are the persons who are saying that the Tinubu administration has done well? Who are the people who are okay with the removal of fuel subsidy? Who knows exactly how much has been saved from? Look, when you look at leaders who are not accountable and transparent, it is high-level mischief. And what we call government in Nigeria today is organized criminality. Every system and institution of governance today in Nigeria is there to aid and abet criminality and corruption. Unfortunately, this institution that is supposed to carry out checks and balances, the National Assembly, has almost become a daycare for the president. When you say subsidy regime is gone, in civilized climes in the Western world, subsidy is not a bad thing. What you call social security and the rest of them are subsidy. The question is the corruption and criminality in the subsidy regime gone? When you want to be a transparent leader, the first question we should have asked is that President Tinubu, how much had been wasted on fuel subsidy between 1999 and when you came in? By stopping to pay fuel subsidy, how much could you have saved within the first 1 year? What is the reason why we do not have stable power in Nigeria? Government is owing GenCos and DisCos. How much do we need to invest? How much do we need to offset our debt? So now we have a situation where in Nigeria today, this is a government that took out fuel subsidy, the government that has taxed Nigeria more, that has generated revenue, but somehow has still ended up borrowing more than the past 3 presidents combined. So what exactly are the fiscal policies available or the social security available to Nigerians? What is the benefit of the removal of fuel subsidy? So that you can say, look, we are paying the price with higher energy prices, higher fuel. But due to we paying this, we have now been able to sort out infrastructure. We have better hospitals. Guess what? In 2025, according to the Ministry of Health budget, the Minister for Health said out of 218 billion budgeted for infrastructural project, 36 million was released to the Federal Ministry of Health for capital projects. Do you know that in Nigeria today there are more renewed hope campaign buses than Federal Ministry of Health emergency ambulances? And guess what? The president within the first 2 years of his administration spent more than 34 billion on just forex for international travel. And by this month, March, President Tinubu has taken the Aso Rock Villa off the national grid to be powered by solar energy. Meanwhile, Nigerians, more than 90 million wallow in darkness, disconnected from the national grid. So which of the Nigerians are talking about the benefits of removal of fuel subsidy? Where is the money? Where is the economy? According to the United Nations, more than 141 million Nigerians have moved into extreme and multi-dimensional poverty. We have overtaken India again, a country with more than 1 billion people. It is a tragedy.
Interesting. But then, Peter, I'm curious.
Yes.
At this point, there are big speculations that your outburst is a deliberate attempt to attack the All Progressive Congress and also the person of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Do you set out to address or to attack the president with all of your outbursts?
What is attack? What is the definition of the word attack? Every government and every system that has leaders must be held accountable. Democracies thrive when citizens participate. And if you fail as a people to hold leaders accountable, then you do not have a society to live in. What you have is a hostage situation where citizens are oppressed and they say nothing and do nothing. Why? Because we have built strong men and not strong institutions. Why should the government not be held to account? What do you mean by, within all that you say, when you say that, oh, people are being killed, and you ask the government that, why should you be killing people? What is the primary responsibility of government? The protection, security of life and property. So when people criticize and call out inefficiencies of government, it is not an attack. It is holding people accountable because every life matters. There is no government in the world where the power of the people prevail, where more than 100 people will be killed and the president will attend the wedding ceremony. Do you know the victims of kidnap that we are talking about right now, some who are in the forest? Today in Nigeria, terrorists are making phone calls in 2026 using POS to collect money. They are using phones to make transfers, but somehow the government cannot track them. Guess the only technology that we do not have, the technology to do electronic real-time transmission of results for INEC. The only people doing real-time transmission right now in Nigeria are terrorists and bandits. Even from the forest, they can do it. But Nigeria's INEC, after receiving 873 billion, does not have enough technology to power elections. So it is not about, I don't know the president, I do not know themselves personally. It is about what you do with the power that is given to you. And if Nigerians as a people cannot wake up and together hold leaders accountable, then we can foreclose Nigeria as a democracy. What you see is what you get.
So invariably, you're saying you're not attacking the person of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, neither are you attacking the office of the president, or neither are you even attacking the ruling All Progressive Congress, if I get you correctly.
I do not have, look, we do not even have a ruling party per se. The current All Progressives Congress is an affliction to Nigerians. It is a curse. Nigerians must self-liberate. It is not about whether people attack. You must hold leaders accountable.
We'll allege on that.
Yes.
That Nigerian is under some form of bondage. Let's allege on it because a lot of people will tell you they are liberated in this life.
Who are they? Who are you talking to? Where are they?
You know we have the other side of this divide.
Okay.
People that believe so much in President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's policies and those that don't believe. So you are saying you're not attacking the person of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You're not attacking the office of the president. Rather, you are starting as a patriotic Nigeria to speak out when you see some form of inadequacies.
No, rather the government we have in Nigeria today is waging an attack on the Nigerian people and the democracy that we have.
How do you mean?
Yes, because when you have a government that comes and decides to engage in state capture, where you want to convert the entire apparatus of states to become a one-party state, it is an attack on democracy. When you have today in Nigeria, America is helping to fight insecurity, France is helping to collect taxes, President Tinubu is in charge of overseeing defections from other parties to the APC. You have a National Assembly that is supposed to perform oversight over every other arm of government. When the president goes to submit his budget, do you know what they greet him with? His campaign mantra, on their mandate they shall collapse. Sang also with the judicial arm of government. Do you know that these are arms of government that must run independently of each other as coordinates and not subordinates? So when you have a National Assembly that has become subservient to the executive arm of government, that has basically become a daycare, it is an assault on our democracy. So if there is anybody attacking any other person, it is the government that has decided to weaponize every institution of state against the people and not the other way around. And we all who are victims of this rudderless leadership must come together and insist that the right thing be done to protect human life and not support criminality in power.
A common trend online is the claim that Nigerians have lost trust in public institutions. Do you think this perception is justified?
I mean, we should be getting these statistics from you as the fourth estate of the realm, the media, the press, because you should be at the fore of holding these governments accountable and also getting the data that is, you know, necessary. Right. I mean, you saw, you watched the recent interview between Daniel Bwala and Al Jazeera and how it has made, you know, a lot of buzz about how exactly the media, the role they play in the country. When you talk about trust exactly, one of the most common institutions that should protect human rights and ensure justice are the courts, the judicial arm of government. Sir, how well do you trust the courts in Nigeria today? Do you have confidence that when you go into a court, is it truly the last hope of the common man, or it has become the last hope of the uncommon man? When they tell you that the law enforcement that should be closest to you, the police is your friend, sir, is the police in Nigeria your friend? Bail is free. Is bail free in Nigeria? Have you gone to the police and left without paying bail? That is the law enforcement that is supposed to provide primary security to you, where you must collaborate to help them get intelligence. If there is that level of distrust between you and your law enforcement, what other thing? If there is no collaboration even between the police, the civil defense, the Nigerian army and the DSS, there is a lot of rivalry among them. How do they unite to provide security for us? So across board, it is a tale of recklessness and irresponsibility. It is not up to Nigerians to just complain, because when you see people talk like the way I talk, it is highlighting the issues. But beyond highlighting the issues, we must also call for fixing them, because guess what? Bad governance does not exist in a vacuum. We are the collateral for it.
All right, so why I ask that question is because to a very large extent, or even on the social media space, Nigeria is because there's this salient debate that we cannot trust the institutions. Now, we have our statistics, we have our data that shows that few institutions in the country are working, not all.
Like...
let's not start mentioning.
I mean, it is important that let's
not give credit to various institutions right now, but let's even look at it. You are an activist.
Okay.
I'm
an advocate.
Okay,
I don't know how
you are an advocate for the good people of Nigeria.
Yes.
But then we've seen a lot of advocates also that are emerging from the social media space. Now, when outbursts from the social media space happen, does the government listen, or the government ignores from all of the social media pressure that is even we see on this online?
One of the most critical moments in recent history when Nigerians came out to demand for a change en masse in form of civic mobilization and protest was EndSARS, October 2020. We were all here, we witnessed it. What was the response of government? Young people who were seated on the floor waving their country's flag and singing the country's anthem, demanding that they should be protected from law enforcement brutality, extrajudicial killings. What was the response? Live arms were fired at people who were demanding an end to police brutality. So every time you see, recently we were at the National Assembly where we went to protest. What did we go to demand? That there should be transparent elections, pass an electoral act that would guarantee free and fair election. What was the response? Tear gas canisters were shot at us from the gate of the National Assembly. People scampered up until Eagle Square and into the Federal Secretariat. Women fell on the ground. Women who were backing children, some fainted and collapsed. So you have a government that is tone deaf. In fact, instead of building a system that can hold them accountable, they are ready to ensure that they weaponize the system, because guess what? The current ruling party, whether you like it or not, is an unpopular party. They know that if there are free and fair elections in Nigeria today, before 1 o'clock, the defeat of Tinubu and his minions will be announced. What they put their confidence on is a rigged electoral process. It is up to Nigerians to wake up and ensure that that system gives them the opportunity for their votes to count so that they can pick leaders. Look at the United States, for example. Trump is not even waiting for 4 years, because by November of this year, they have their midterm elections. If he does not perform well, the House or the Senate will flip into the other party, the Democrats. It puts him in a difficult place. That is why 1 year, a little above 1 year, he's trying to accomplish all of his manifesto, ending the war in Ukraine, the war in Gaza, here and all of that, foreign policy. In Nigeria, it is because they know that you can be a calamity. Just rig yourself back through INEC and go to the Nigerian General Hospital judiciary.
Interesting times, Peter, to talk about Nigerian politics. But then again, I'm curious, speaking of governance, of course, we can all sit on the fence to analyze government policies, how effective and how efficient the government policies are. But so far, the distance between involvement in governance tends to be a very wide margin. At this point, I'm curious, do you belong to a political party?
I will belong to eventually. Every person in Nigeria should belong to a political party. If the persons who are destroying the lives of Nigerians are in a political party, those who want to rescue Nigeria must belong to a political party. You cannot make change from outside. For you to even change what you want, you must be a part of the process. And you should understand that everything you see from the government and trying to make these institutions not work is deliberate. According to INEC, 2023 total number of registered voters were about 93 million. Persons who collected PVCs were about 87 million. Sir, the total persons who voted in 2023 are less than 28 million people. President Tinubu is seated at the presidential villa today with a mandate of less than 9 million persons. That is less than 20% of the country chose the leader. More than 50 million people took the pain to register, collected PVCs, but decided not to participate. Why? Because a lot of Nigerians do not believe in that process. A lot of Nigerians do not believe that what they come out to do on election day is what INEC announces at the end. Look at the FCT election that took place some Saturdays ago. More than 900,000 registered voters, less than 70,000 came out to vote. Nigerians daily are losing hope and confidence in the systems and institutions to protect them. So they would rather say, let us let this thing be. But every person who knows that you mean well for your life should know that you can still become a victim of a system you chose to ignore. So we must engage.
Well, Peter, I'm asking that question because of the speculations. That, you are coming from the angle of the opposition. As such, you're trying to ridicule the government. Everything you speak about the government, I tend to spin from the negative side of things. Have you seen anything positive about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration?
I mean,
is there any?
I'm curious about what the word, coming from the side of opposition means.
Perhaps you belong to the Labour Party, you belong to the ADC, you belong to the People's Democratic Party and other political parties. Now that forms the opposition political party.
Mr. Godwin,
please go
in
ahead.
Nigeria today, I am an active citizen. And the greatest opposition in Nigeria is the people's opposition.
So as an active citizen, you've not seen anything good about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration?
I want you to give me the statistics. It is important that you also raise them. You are talking about, because we must engage factually and we must stick to the issues. We want to talk about insecurity. You want to talk about the economy. You want to talk about corruption or anti-corruption in Nigeria today. So it is important that we stay with the facts so that when people begin to make statements like, oh, you are attacking because of for the sake of opposition, let us know what the figures are. On insecurity in Kebbi State, the Kebbi State governor told you that before they went to kidnap girls from Government Girls Secondary School, MAGA, we got intelligence that they will attack the school. We deployed security men there. Few hours before the attack, the security men withdrew. And then the people came, made away with more than 20 children, killed the vice principal and another student. Till today, the APC governor is asking, who ordered troops out of Government Girls Secondary School, Kebbi State? The commander-in-chief, President Tinubu, is yet to respond. Is the Kebbi State governor an opposition member? I want to know. So that when you want to talk about people who criticize the government, is the governor of Kebbi State, Nasir Idris, an APC chieftain, is he also a part of the opposition? Was it the opposition who claimed, according to AFP, that more than 2 billion was paid for the release of the students in St. Mary's Catholic Primary School in Papiri in Niger State? So we have a government that is subsidizing terrorism instead of protecting the lives of citizens, and we sit down to talk about people criticizing for the sake of opposition. Or is it about the economy, where we have, according to Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, more than 100 million Nigerians living in extreme and multi-dimensional poverty? So what part of it belongs to the opposition? Was it the opposition who pushed more people into poverty? Was it the opposition who took out subsidy and refused to reinvest it in so critical areas of the infrastructure? Or coming to talk about the war against corruption? How many persons, was it opposition chairman who said that when you come to our party, your sins are forgiven? How many persons in the APC who had cases of EFCC? The former Delta State governor, more than 1.3 billion EFCC allegation case. When he defected to the APC, have you seen him in court? So which of them is the opposition? Which of them is criticizing for the sake of opposition? All of those stories are trying to water down the real pain and reality. The pain and suffering that Nigerians are going through is real. I know people who are currently having loved ones in the forest. Kidnappers are calling and threatening their lives to pay ransom in the tone of millions. Are those part of the opposition who are just criticizing this government? This government is a tragedy and it is a shame.
So you've not seen, anything good about this?
I want you to take...
No, perhaps if we take it up from, taking it from various states, and of course, we can't say that the whole exclusive legislative list is completely not even in tandem with growth and development. The exclusive legislative list, which is, we've seen what Festus Keyamo is doing in the aviation space. Since you want us to mention names, we've seen what his other counterparts in the Ministry of Interior, Olubunmi, is doing within that space also. We've seen what is going on even in educational aspects.
What is going on in education?
Tunji allows, I'm just trying to cite instances. Now, we can't rule out completely. I'm curious. Are you not seeing anything good about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration?
Continuously asking if I'm seeing anything good.
Nothing. No policy, no program, no agenda.
Your question makes it look like you are deliberately, one is deliberately looking for the negatives of the government. I am giving you factual statistics. The Ministry of Interior that you mentioned, sir, did you follow the budget presentation of the Ministry of Interior this last month or last 2 weeks? The Minister of Interior told you that for 2 years, in 2024 and 2025, 0% of our budget for capital expenses was released to that ministry. Are you aware of that, sir? What level of administration of fiscal policies leads to that kind of situation? Do you know that in Nigeria today, we have more than 3 budgets running concurrently? We have the 2024 budget, the 2025 budget, and the 2026 appropriation bill all collapsed into 2026. Are you aware? Are you aware that in the Ministry of Education, when you talk about whatever that is going on with the Ministry of Education, Nigeria has more than 18 million out-of-school children as we are talking. 18 million is almost half the population of Ghana. It is almost twice the population of Rwanda. An entire generation of children are not engaged in education, and we should sit down and clap hands because somebody made a policy statement. What exactly is infrastructural development in the midst of insecurity and violence? Did you watch the videos of persons who were attacked in the CAC church in Iruku in Kwara State? Have we seen videos of soldiers killed in an attack in Goza in Borno State? And terrorists are online displaying and brandishing their weapons, and the videos of how they successfully attack Nigerian military bases. And we have a commander-in-chief. And I'm supposed to be seated here and talking about what Tinubu has done in the aviation sector. How many Nigerians have the abilities to buy air tickets? How many Nigerians have the capacity to fly by air travel? All the contracts and everything that is awarded by the Ministry of Works, the Ministry of Aviation, at what cost? Who is the person auditing those contracts? What is the bidding process? Look, if we want to have a country that is sane, if we want to have a country that follows due process, we must insist on it. Any other thing is aiding and abetting corruption and criminality, and we will never be better off.
Well, Peter, you know, I like the way you're passionate about talking about issues that borders on Nigeria.
Yeah.
But then again,
yeah,
where do we go from here?
Good. Important question. Everybody must get leadership that can be held accountable. One of the foundations of every democracy are free, fair, credible, and peaceful elections. And that is why when you see any government that claims to have a democracy, that comes into power and is trying to behave that we want to fix every other thing, but is not talking about free and fair elections, it is extreme and high-level mischief. The bane of democracy is not building coastal highway. It is that when people come out to vote, their votes will count. They can choose their leaders. If they fail to perform, they can vote them out. When you see a government that is telling you that I am doing this, but I cannot give you the ability to vote free and fair, that is high-level mischief. Nigerians must know that the tragedy of Nigeria is that there is no worst-case scenario. Because things are this bad does not mean it will not get worse. That is the Nigerian situation. There was a time where they thought that Jonathan was so bad, occupy Nigeria. Jonathan did, Jonathan should go. He left. Then Buhari told you that there was another level to incompetence. For 8 years, Buhari was treating ear infections in London. Buhari was treating, his doctors were in the United Kingdom. There was a time he was in the UK for almost 100 days. At the end of his presidency, he died in the UK in a private hospital and returned to the country as a cargo. Today, the current president has his own doctors in France. The Ministry of Health you are talking about, does the president use the Nigerian hospital? When last did you see President Tinubu doing checkup in a Nigerian hospital? Even you as the press, as journalists, when last did you see President Tinubu stand behind a lectern, the way President Donald Trump, you will see of America, take rapid questions from the press to declare and to defend his own policies? Before you even ask opposition or any other person, activist, to come out and defend Tinubu, when last did Tinubu come out to take questions from you to defend his own government, since he's doing so well and you think he's doing so well?
Well, I'm not holding brief for the president.
Good.
So let's just be on the same page, Peter.
No, not you. Not you.
When you're saying, you're talking to me directly, so
you represent the press.
You are talking to my colleagues also. So
yes, to your colleagues.
So you're starting with me.
Yes.
When last did you? So I need to clarify that first, I'm not holding brief for the president, and I'm not a fan of politics per se. I'm not.
You are doing your job.
I'm not a card carrying member of any political party.
Yes.
I'm just a simple journalist.
Yes.
So let's be on the same page.
You are not even a simple journalist.
Just
you are a member of the fourth estate of the realm.
Just a simple journalist.
Yes.
So let's just go by that narrative. So you can continue with your
okay, so that is very important.
Yes.
So as a simple journalist, when last did simple journalists gather and take simple questions?
I like that word.
When last did simple journalists gather and take simple questions from the Commander-in-Chief of the Federation to explain his achievements to you? When was the last time you saw President Tinubu have a press conference where he came out of the, of the villa and said, look, let me take questions at random. Channels, you can go. Arise, you can go. Rapid TV, you can go. When last did you witness that? According to the age declaration of APC, President Tinubu is about 74, 75. The US president is 79 years old. So we are standing on a mandate that is collapsing. That is the reality of Nigeria. Mandate that is collapsing in Turkey, Nigerians are standing upon it. So if you want to fix the country, we must fix the system of our leadership recruitment, because that was your question. You cannot have a HR department in this office. One of the strongest departments here is your HR. That is why they looked for persons like you who are square pegs in square holes to be here. Imagine a HR where they need a news anchor, a journalist to sit down and anchor this program. They employ a plumber or a carpenter. That is what Nigeria's INEC does. Where you need a medical doctor, you can decide to get a vulcanizer. Because we have an electoral process that has become crooked. It is only weaponized by the most violent of people. If Nigerians want to move forward, we must ask ourselves the question, what kind of leadership do we want? How do we get a system that holds leaders accountable? If we do not build a system that rewards bad and that rewards good and punishes bad, do we truly have a society where a person can be accused as a former governor of stealing money to the tune of over 80 billion? According to EFCC, he paid school fee of his children in advance. That person has the nerves to come out today and say, I want to still seek further political office. It only happens in Nigeria. If it is in China, it is even death by firing squad. But in Nigeria, they are lucky people. You can steal money, you go to church, you donate. You go to mosque, you donate. They will call you a philanthropist. Business or money without enterprise. We must change our leadership recruitment process.
Peter, I've heard you speak in one forum where you talked about the fact that the court has now become the last hope for elections to be concluded.
Yes.
And I said, when you get to the studio, I will have to ask you to please elaborate on that particular conversation.
Because unfortunately, you know that the judiciary is supposed to be the last hope of the common man. But as it is today, Nigerian judiciary will have to decide whether we actually have a judiciary, because what we have today is more of the legal department of every government in power. The judiciary is an independent arm of a democratic government that dispenses justice for the states and not for statesmen. We have today a judicialization of our electoral process and our democracy. So what Nigeria does is we have committed over 800 billion to INEC to conduct elections. At the end of that process, everybody then sits down and waits for the tribunal to pick leaders. Do you know that in 2023, out of the about 360 House of Reps seats that were contested, just House of Reps, almost 300 of them were decided by the courts? Mr. Godwin, we spent billions of naira to conduct an election. But because everybody does not believe in that process, we know that at the end of this case, we are all headed to court. And that was why the late President Buhari made the famous statement in 2023. Anybody that does not agree with this should do what? Go to court. So the court is our new general hospital where you go to bandage your wound. If you don't fix this election and you are claiming that you want to go to court, what you go to get inside that court may just be the confirmation of your own autopsy.
Well, Peter, you know, there are angles to these things that you're taking us to. We're trying to even wrap our heads around. We've talked about the judiciary in itself. Are you saying at this point that Nigerians cannot trust the judicial institutions?
I'm not saying. It is the data and statistics that is on ground. Nigerians overwhelmingly do not have trust and confidence in their judiciary. Mr. Godwin, even the immediate past Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwoola, it became so bad that when there were conflicting judgments in a state in Kano in Nigeria, he had to put a stay on status quo and invited all the judges. Do you know why? That it is because of the Nigerian judiciary today. You have an APC emir in Kano, you have a state high court emir, you have a federal high court emir. Because the law has become almost something that is inexplicable. Even persons who are experts or professionals in the law cannot understand it, because our judiciary will rather rule on technicalities than staying on the facts of the law. Everywhere you see political turmoil in Nigeria today, you see the hand of the judiciary there. Today in Nigeria, we almost have a minister in the federal cabinet of President Tinubu who is dedicated to taking care of the judiciary. When you see a minister for FCT building houses, giving them allowances, buying cars for the judiciary, at the end, this is a player whose case will end up on that judicial bench. What do you expect to be the outcome?
But Peter, in a case where we have such a scenario, you've talked about free and fair elections. From 1999 till date, it's as though there won't be a free and fair election in Nigeria, because we've seen the trajectory and what have played out. The question is, are we ready as a people for democracy, or we should look the other way around in order to govern ourselves?
When I hear questions like this, I feel pained, because as a people, we are all collective victims of this dysfunctionality. Everybody in Nigeria today is a potential victim. Even running this institution where we are seated here today is costing people a lot, because certain things that should be available in the country are not there. When you check even the salaries of staff and how they are managing the cost of housing, the cost of electricity to power this. So we must move from the conversation of whether or not there can be free and fair elections to ensuring we make a statement that there must be free and fair elections.
Are we even ready for the democracy?
So we must now look for persons who are ready to activate the readiness in every person. When you talk about if we are ripe for democracy or not, I will remind you of the words of the former British Prime Minister Winston Churchill. He said, democracy is the worst form of government until you try all other forms of government. Mr. Godwin, Nigeria has had military dictatorships. We have had monarchies where kings and others were in charge of empires. We have countries in the world that developed under dictatorships. At what point did Nigeria develop? What exactly has been the benefit of it all? If you take democracy in principle and put it into practice, we will be better off. Every person who tries to japa, the so-called japa from Nigeria today, Look and observe that they do not go to the parts of the world where there is dictatorship. They don't run from here and go to the Middle East. They go to the Western world. What exactly is the difference between the democracy in America, in Europe, and in Nigeria? It is because we have not taken democracy in principle to put it in practice. So we have allowed a handful of persons to hijack it. So the persons who benefit from democracy are the handful of persons in public office who misuse and take the commonwealth and appropriate to themselves. While the people continue to sit and have conversations like this, like can it work, can it not work? How many persons are holding Nigeria hostage? Calculate everybody in power, how many are there, as against how many million people. Once the majority say enough, it will be enough. But until then, Nigerians will do the right thing after doing every other thing.
All right, let me bring this to you. Of course, you've been an advocate for electoral reforms, and you've been big on it. We've seen you at INEC Gate, at the National Assembly quite a number of times trying to advocate for that. But then, so far, have you been satisfied with the outcome of the whole Electoral Act?
Do you know my response to this will be, nation building is not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Are you satisfied?
Whether or not I'm satisfied, the most important thing is I'm not giving up. Look, the Nigerian state has run as a sophisticated criminal enterprise for more than 60 years. We are about 65 years. If Nigerian public office holders do not know anything, they understand corruption. If you think that you are going to change Nigeria with just a wave of a hand, you might just be thinking or overthinking. You must understand that it takes critical strategy, determination, and resilience to ensure you get what you want, but you stay focused on the goal. That is why with all of the shenanigans in the national, unfortunately, Nigeria does not have a national assembly. What we have is a Tinubu daycare. Are you aware?
Allegedly. We have a city national assembly.
No,
we can't sit here and discredit the national assembly.
That is what I want to explain to you, that the Nigerian National Assembly today is a Tinubu daycare filled with Tinubu's children. The Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, read a letter from the First Lady inviting them to come and have dinner at the villa with the First Lady. And the Senate President said it is an invitation from a mother to her children. So do you know that the Senate President is a son to Madam Remi Tinubu? So if the First Lady is their mother, who is their father? The President. So the Senate that is supposed to carry out oversight over the executive arm sees themselves as children of the executive. So who is supposed to oversee each other? Do you know that in Nigeria today, in Nigeria's budget, let us take Ministry of Solid Minerals for example, Nigeria is still budgeting over 6 billion to pay salary of staff in Ajaokuta Steel Company. Have you gone to Ajaokuta Steel recently? Do you know the level of brazen criminality that is going on in the National Assembly? Of the budget of over 340 billion to service the lives of persons in the National Assembly, have you seen the breakdown of the expenditure of the National Assembly? Before we sit down and begin to protect ourselves and claim that we have a National Assembly, the question is, what is that National Assembly? What is their role in ensuring the life of the common man is protected and that is taken care of? Or we have a bunch of self-serving individuals who are there to appropriate billions to themselves. Do you know that today in Nigeria we are looking for over 210 trillion from NNPC? And President Tinubu wrote off the debt of NNPC 5.1 trillion and more than $1.2 billion. 210 trillion is more than the total debts that Nigeria is owing. One agency is being accused of misappropriating that amount of money. Imagine what will happen if you audit NPA, NIMASA, NDDC, Custom, FIRS. Do you remember that the current Senate President was the Minister for Niger Delta during the infamous public hearing of Honorable Minister Off Your Mic? Look, when we want to get serious about holding public office holders accountable, we will stop this washing and setting. If not, what we have, today's victims were yesterday's survivors. Tomorrow's victims will be today's survivors. The next set of people Nigeria will happen to is those that are alive. The persons we call legislative arms of government and politicians in executive office, they are insulated. Their children are overseas. They are covered, and they will move at the next issue.
But as it stands right now, are Nigerians ready for this conversation?
Nigerians have to be ready.
But as it stands right now,
yes.
Are we ready for this?
Nigerians are ready. Nigerians are ready. What I want to do is to encourage us not to give up. A lot of Nigerians have good reason not to believe in this country. There are people, for example, the Gen Z. Imagine a generation of young children who were born into a system that never works. So when you are telling a Gen Z to come out and protest, you'll be asking you what for? Let me just learn tech, save some money, do what I can do and japa from this country. Because what has Nigeria given to me? But I want to let you know that as long as we are here, we must try to make it work. Nigerians came out en masse to vote in 2023. INEC said there was a glitch. It showed that Nigerians were ready. A politician went to a party that was almost unknown and somehow got more than 6 million votes according to INEC. It showed that Nigerians were ready. The statement and what we should be concerned with is building on that momentum. To know that because you were disappointed somehow in 2023 does not mean you should give up. It can still happen to anybody. We tried one time, it did not work. Let us try again. We must keep trying and not give up on this
with
country.
The same institutions that a lot of Nigerians, recall I asked, can we trust the institutions? And you said that we cannot trust the institution as it stands right now. Are you talking about free, fair, and credible elections? Can these institutions guarantee all of this?
What I'm saying, I did not say outrightly you can't trust them.
All right.
You can't trust them, but you must instill on them the desire and the ability to perform and deliver for you. If millions of Nigerians come out to vote, ensure that they protect their votes and insist that their votes will count, nobody can read through millions of people who are determined. The system is rigged against you, but it is intentional and it is deliberate.
But the ad hoc staff of INEC are not machines, and they're not robots. They are the human beings.
Human beings
themselves Nigerians.
Yes.
In the light of this conversation. So how do we fix this if Nigerians don't even trust the systems?
Whether or not you trust the system, you must understand that that system will produce leadership for you. In 2027, INEC will be the one to conduct elections. INEC will announce a leader. People did not come out to vote during FCT election. It does not mean there is no chairman. The 70,000 who came out, amongst them, they voted and they collated results. Nigerians must understand that when more persons come out, the problem I have or the challenge I notice with Nigerians is that we are too adaptable. Our level, our threshold for pain is extremely incredible. So you can pull Nigerians and instead of them to fight back to change it, they will move this way and say, don't worry, maybe after 4 years, Shebi go soon come out. After another 4 years, and that is what we have done. It goes soon, we have gotten into where we are today. And everybody is gnashing their teeth in Kwara, Ekiti, everywhere in Nigeria. So Nigerians must know that we can convert pain into passion to take positive action. So as much as the institutions cannot or you do not trust in them, we have the numbers and the capacity to overwhelm them and ensure they work for the people. How many are INEC ad hoc staff? When they see people we mount for polling unit and say we want our votes to count, even the INEC staff knows that he's a victim of Nigeria. He will count the votes.
Interesting. Well, we'll look forward to a very productive country where everything works in the nearest future, of course.
With our efforts.
Let's not forget that part. Of course, there are conversations around the Electoral Act I would have loved us to talk about, especially the sections around the Electoral Act. I'm being signaled that our time is fast spent. We have to just let's adjourn using legislative language and bring you back again in order for us to dissect all of these. Except you want to quickly react to the various sections that you're dissatisfied with in the recent Electoral Act.
Easy. Section 60, subsection 3. The use of electronic technology. It is an INEC position. INEC said we have done feasibility studies. We have enough network. But somehow the National Assembly decided to pass the law and put a caveat, a proviso that says where there is no network, we should use the form EC8A form and it will be the primary source of collation. And INEC has stated that the ritual and the shrine of election rigging is in collation centers. That's why we need electronic technology to reduce human interference. That proviso is for us to go back to the crude way of ensuring that we do manual collation to give you what you saw in Obiakpo. And that is why I'm telling you that today in Nigeria, the only people having capacity to do real-time transmission are terrorists, kidnappers, and bandits. They do it from the forest. We as a people do not have the capacity, even after giving INEC more than 800 billion. We must challenge that system.
Well, Peter, quite a lot of things to discuss on this table. We've not even scratched the surface of this conversation.
We'll be back.
Of course, we'll definitely bring you back on the show. I want to say thank you so much, Peter, for finding out time to be with us. Mr. Peter for Nigeria.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being on the show. What viewers, is our 4 Weekend Go tonight on Korero. Do not forget that you can leave your thoughts, a comment on our various social media handle currently showing on your screen. And you can also download the Rapid TV app from your Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. My name is Godwin Sunday. Always remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Do enjoy the rest of your night rest. Bye for now.
Correro, your front row seat to the most pressing issues from the corridors of power to the heart of our communities. We bring you unfiltered insight, fearless journalism, and the conversations that matter. And I invite you to this big conversation table as we analyze the top stories, ask the tough questions, and hold power to account. News that informs, analysis that empowers, debate that drives change. Correro, the big conversation, every weekday at 7 p.m. only on Rapid TV.
Magic has hit your imagination of TV. A brand new sundial with StarTimes inbuilt technology. New TV innovation with an inbuilt decoder that connects you to both StarTimes antenna and satellite signal. StarTimes Sundial TV, you can enjoy over 300 local and international channels, 1 month StarTimes highest bouquet for free, automatic system update. More benefits, more affordable. StarTimes Sundial TV is available in all StarTimes branches and dealers countrywide. StarTimes Inside, entertainment inbuilt.
From the soil beneath our feet to the tables across the world, agriculture is the heartbeat of Nigeria's future. Yet challenges persist. Limited finance, outdated methods, policy gaps, and untapped opportunities. The Green Line is here to change that. A groundbreaking weekly television feature that connects policy with practice, farmers with markets, and innovation with impact. We dig deep into the full agricultural value chain, from land preparation to mechanization, financing, food preservation, exports, and beyond. The Green Line isn't just a show, it's a national development platform. Join me every Friday at 11 a.m. only on Rapid TV, StarTimes channel 176, and online at www.rbnradiotv.com.
My name is also.
My name is Ima Ehumadu, aka La Vista.
My name is DK, aka Mama Chinedu.
Keep watching Rapid TV.
You are watching Rapid TV.
Shout out to Rapid TV.
Hey, Rapid TV, Carigo.
The biggest, the finest, the only Rapid TV.
Rapid TV.
Yes, keep watching.
Don't go nowhere. Don't touch that dial.
Keep watching Rapid TV.
This is me giving a rapid response to Rapid TV.
Rapid TV, rooted in truth, driven by impact.
Creating opportunities, changing lives. The Konak Foundation story. Konak Foundation stands as a beacon of change, a non-profit, non-governmental organization, NGO, that took root in 2012 with a resolute vision to combat the scourge of youth unemployment that had cast shadows of discord and idleness across local communities. We recognize the urgency of redirecting the energy of young minds ensnared in the clutches of social vices, drug abuse, thuggery, kidnapping, rape, and cultism. With determination as our driving force, we embarked on a journey of transformation. Mission statement: providing humanitarian support to the people that need it the most. Capacity building to improve economic outcomes and health, because health is wealth. Vision: a world where communities are empowered, where women and youth have access to opportunities that better their lives. Values: community, respect, integrity, excellence, service. Thematic areas: human capital development. We collaborate closely with diverse communities, identifying strengths and needs. Through workshops, mentoring, and skill building, we create a holistic learning environment, nurturing expertise and personal growth. Humanitarian actions and advocacy. We provide vital help during crisis through direct interventions, aid distribution, and emergency response. Our efforts restore dignity and hope, acting as a lifeline for those impacted by conflicts, disasters, and hardships. Health services. We collaborate with medical experts, facilities, and partners to extend our health services widely. Prioritizing underserved areas, we provide vital medical care to those in need. Educational development. The genesis of Konak Foundation finds its roots in a transformative scholarship program initiated by the visionary Ken Nnamdi Okagu in the year 2012. What began as a noble endeavor to provide access to education for the underserved swiftly evolved into a multifaceted empowerment movement that has left an indelible mark on countless lives. Since our inception in 2012, with just 9 beneficiaries, our scholarship program has grown remarkably. We proudly support 380 students nationwide, of which 179 students hail from the 17 local government areas of Abia State. We understand the challenges these deserving students face and have tailored our support to address their diverse needs. But we don't stop there. We understand that a holistic education is essential for well-rounded growth. That's why our students actively engage in various educational activities that empower them to excel globally. Our STEM summer camp ignites their curiosity through hands-on science, technology, engineering, and math activities. Sports activities, field trips, and creativity camps are also integral components, fostering physical exercise, teamwork, and an environment of fun and learning. Digital skills training. Konak Foundation's Digital Skills Training Program encapsulates our unwavering commitment to the United Nations 9th Sustainable Development Goal, SDGs 9. Since its inception in 2017, our Digital Skills Training Program has ushered 1,033 youths through an immersive curriculum, with laptops, printers, and computer repair tools serving as their embarkation kits. Our graduates set sail on promising trajectories. 60% of these accomplished individuals are now gainfully employed, stirring ICT enterprises that ripple with innovation and progress. Entrepreneurship development. This entrepreneurship development program is honed in on 2 key focal areas. 1. Business skills and entrepreneurship development, where we offer comprehensive training to enhance participants' capacity in business. This program has successfully trained and awarded certificates to a total of 463 youth beneficiaries enrolled in the scheme. 2. Business plan and grant pitching. Our business plan and grant pitching serves as an invaluable platform for both nascent startups and established businesses to present their innovative ideas to a discerning panel of judges. Selected ventures are awarded business grants. These grants, totaling 63 million naira, have significantly contributed to establishing 75 distinct business ventures. Konak Foundation's Entrepreneurship Initiative, KOFE. In 2022, over 9,000 applicants from across 6 geopolitical zones were enrolled in the KOFE program for a 12-week online learning, followed by tutor-led virtual class held every week via Zoom platform. At the end of the e-learning period, 450 participants were shortlisted to attend the 7-day-long bootcamp program held in 3 states, namely Abia, Lagos, and the FCT, where they present their business plan and pitch for a grant funding of up to $5,000. In a similar vein, the KOFE 2023 program received over 10,000 applications across the 6 geopolitical zones. top 600 participants were shortlisted for the 7-day-long bootcamp program held in 4 states in Nigeria, namely Rivers, South-South and Southeast zones, Osun, Southwest Zone, Kano, Northwest Zone, and FCT, Northeast and North Central Zone. To date, Konak Foundation has awarded 125 businesses with a total grant funding of $236,000. Quality healthcare services. Since 2016, we have steadfastly provided free medical and surgical services annually. Konak Foundation achieved a significant milestone by partnering with Faith Care Incorporated, a faith-based missionary organization from the United States, to orchestrate a comprehensive 7-day medical outreach. 10,000 patients have received consultation and care to date. Among these consultations, surgeries spanned a range of critical specialties, including OB/GYN, pediatrics, and general surgery. Surgeries, 450, dental care, 770, eye care, 1,948, laboratory investigation, 806. Furthermore, the Foundation invited other individual philanthropists and charitable organizations to support and help kickstart the Afugiri Micro-Community Hospital. When this hospital is fully built, it will be a 20-bed hospital with maternity, pediatric, and other general practice specialists. The hospital will cater to a population of over 300,000 residents of Umuahia North Local Government Area. So far, about $125,000 has been raised to date. Community and infrastructure. Through unwavering commitment, Konak Foundation has carried out community projects on 6 boreholes, road construction, solar power electrification, healthcare facility development, sports.
Five voices on Rapid TV. We're rooted in culture and your window to the stories that matter. From news to lifestyle, we inform, entertain, and uplift. Join Rapid TV on StarTimes Channel 176, Nightcom Sat. On Rapid FM, we speak your language from the soulful airwaves of Umuahia to the vibrant culture of Port Harcourt and beyond. More than broadcasters, we're creators, amplifying that voice within with powerful content across TV, radio, and digital. Join us at rbnradiotv.com and all our social media handles. One network, one voice. Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN, the sound of your city, rooted in truth, driven by impact.
Good evening and welcome to Rapid Television News. I am Godwin Amunde. In the headlines, Tinubu gets ceremonial welcome at Windsor Castle. Service chiefs arrive Maiduguri after deadly attack. CBN flagged 1.05 trillion naira in treasury breeze. Congo president re-elected with over 94% vote. Wabali dropped as Super Eagles named squad for friendlies. Details of these and more will come to you in the bulletin. Stay with us. Now the news in detail. Beginning with foreign affairs, President Bola Tinubu has been accorded a full ceremonial welcome at Windsor Castle as he begins his state visit to the United Kingdom. The Nigerian leader, accompanied by his wife Oluremi Tinubu, was honored with a 42-gun salute by the King's Troop Royal Horse Artillery and later inspected a guard of honor alongside King Charles III. Earlier, the royal engagements commenced with a reception by Prince William and Princess Catherine, who greeted the Nigerian first family before their onward movement to Windsor Castle. The visit also featured an exchange of gifts and a special exhibition of Nigerian-related artifacts preserved in the royal collection, underscoring the long-standing cultural and diplomatic ties between both nations. In continuation of the visit, President Tinubu is expected to attend a state banquet hosted by King Charles, where both leaders will deliver speeches in the presence of dignitaries and invited guests. The president will also lay a wreath at the tomb of the late Queen Elizabeth II at St. George's Chapel as part of activities lined up for the visit. Engagements with organizations promoting interfaith dialogue are also scheduled, while the First Lady is expected to participate in religious services at Lambeth Palace. On Thursday, President Tinubu will meet with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, as well as members of the Nigerian community in the UK, with discussions expected to focus on trade, security, and governance. Turning to security matters, Nigerian service chiefs have relocated to Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, following the deadly bomb blast that claimed at least 23 lives and left over 100 others injured. Acting on the directive of President Bola Tinubu, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Olufemi Oluyede, alongside the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Waidi Shaibu, arrived in the state and proceeded directly to the headquarters of the Joint Task Force, Operation Hadinkai. Upon arrival at the Air Force Base, they were received by the theater commander and conducted an inspection of the quarter guard mounted in their honor, signaling the commencement of high-level military coordination in response to the attacks. Furthermore, the service chiefs are expected to engage with frontline troops, government officials, and key stakeholders to assess the situation and develop strategies to curb the renewed wave of violence. The coordinated explosions, believed to have been carried out by suspected Boko Haram insurgents, struck a busy market, the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital entrance, and the post office area, spreading fear among residents who had experienced relative calm in recent years. The military has warned of an increased threat of suicide attacks as the holy month of Ramadan draws to a close, while President Tinubu has described the incidents as desperate attempts by terrorists to destabilize the country. Meanwhile, the coalition of northern groups has strongly condemned the recent bombed attacks in Maiduguri, warning against a positive resurgence of terrorism in the northeast. The group described the explosions, which occurred near the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital, the Monday Market, and the post office area as a serious setback to the fragile peace gradually being restored in the region. In a statement issued by its national coordinator, Jamilu Aliyu Charanchi, the coalition characterized the coordinated attacks as barbaric and cowardly, while extending condolences to the victims' families, the Borno State government, and the Shehu of Borno over the tragic loss of lives. In addition, the group called for urgent and decisive intervention by the federal government and security agencies, urging them to move beyond routine responses and adopt more proactive and strategic measures. The coalition also raised concerns about renewed Boko Haram activities, warning that the trend coincides with the controversial deployment of foreign troops in parts of the region. It further appealed to President Bola Tinubu to cut short his ongoing visit to the United Kingdom and return to personally oversee the security situation, stressing that his presence at this critical time is necessary to reassure citizens and reinforce national security efforts. The Nigerian police force has disbursed 2.43 billion naira to 1,075 families of officers who died in active service under its group life assurance scheme and Inspector General of Police Family Welfare Program. The check presentation, Wednesday, March 18, 2026, addresses outstanding insurance obligations spanning several policy years, from 2018 to 2019 through 2025 to 2026. Our correspondent Nathan William tells us more in this report.
Speaking of the events, the Inspector General of Police described the disbursement as both a moral obligation and institutional responsibility, emphasizing that the welfare of officers and their families remains central to the force's priorities. He noted that beyond financial support, the gesture serves as recognition of the courage and sacrifice of officers who lost their lives in service to the nation. He also assured that reforms will be strengthened to ensure timely processing of benefits, improve transparency and better welfare systems for serving personnel. The IGP extended condolences to the families of the deceased officers, acknowledging their loss and affirming the force's commitment to standing by them.
Today's presentation therefore symbolizes our enduring obligation to stand by the families they left behind. It is an affirmation that the Nigerian Police Force remains committed to ensuring that the sacrifices of our personnel are recognized and that their loved ones are not forgotten. Under my leadership, the welfare of officers and men of the Nigerian Police Force will remain a central priority. We will continue to strengthen the existing welfare frameworks within the force.
Earlier, Force Insurance Officer highlighted that these schemes are designed to provide comprehensive coverage throughout an officer's career, offering financial protection and benefit of cases of accident, injuries or death while in active service. She assured of prompt disbursement of the funds.
This presentation reflects the determination of the Inspector General of Police, who on assumption of office made it clear that the welfare of officers and their families must not be compromised. He specifically directed that insurance company engaged by the force must ensure the prompt settlement of claims and warned that any insurance company found to be deliberately delaying or frustrating the payment of claims will be blacklisted from handling insurance business of the Nigerian Police Force.
We really appreciate and everybody what you are going to do because it protects you and your family and the whole Nigeria first of all. Thank you so much for your support and effort.
The police boss, who further pledged continued collaboration to settle outstanding claims promptly, commended the Force Insurance Unit and partner insurance companies for their role in facilitating the payment. It disclosed plans to deploy modern technology to improve record management, streamline claims processing, and promote accountability in the administration of welfare services across the force. The ceremony also highlighted renewed efforts by the police leadership to leverage technology and administrative reforms to enhance efficiency in welfare delivery. Nathan Williams, Rapid TV, Abuja.
Meanwhile, the Deputy President of the Senate, Senator Barau Jibri, has assured Nigerians that their concerns will be carefully considered in the ongoing deliberations on the establishment of state police. This follows a courtesy visit by members of the Nigerian Police Force Steering Committee tasked with developing a framework for state policing. The committee, inaugurated by the Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Disu, is mandated to propose structures that will guide the potential implementation of state police across the country. Led by its chairman, Professor Olu Ogunsaki, the committee briefed the Senate leadership on its progress and sought legislative input to strengthen its recommendations. Responding, Senator Barau, who also chairs the Senate Committee on the review of the 1999 Constitution, commended the initiative and emphasized the need for accountability and safeguard against abuse in any proposed system. He urged the committee to incorporate measures that will promote transparency and public trust, while also embarking on nationwide sensitization to educate citizens on the implications of state policing. The Deputy Senate President further reiterated the National Assembly's commitment to working collaboratively with relevant stakeholders to ensure that any outcome of the process reflects the aspirations and security needs of Nigerians. As Nigerians prepare to celebrate Eid al-Fitr, travelers heading home are facing rising transport fares, even as passenger numbers at Abuja's Jabi Motor Park appeared lower than in previous years. Our correspondent Josephine Beatrice reports that while vehicles are available, many commuters are concerned about the high cost of travel during the festive season. The report.
The Jabi Motor Park in Abuja, usually bustling with travelers during festive periods, witnessed a noticeably lower turnout this season. Although vehicles are lined up, ready to convey passengers to various destinations, the number of commuters remained significantly below expectations compared to previous years. Despite the reduced traffic, transport fares have risen sharply, forcing many travelers to either delay their trips or abandon their plans altogether. Some commuters expressed frustration, saying the high cost of transportation has made it difficult to travel home for the Eid al-Fitr celebrations.
Today I paid 12,000 naira to go to Ajakuta. Well, the drivers are always saying they have increased fuel, they've increased the fuel, so probably that's the reason why they also increased the transport fare.
I think 13,000. To Okene. They said it's because of the fuel hike due to the war in Iran and what was it called? Israel and Iran.
Because of the fuel at 9 increase. Fuel they pay 7,000, 8,000 sometimes. And now we pay 12,000.
Transport operators, however, attributed the fare hike to the rising cost of fuel and other operational expenses, insisting that the increase is necessary to keep their businesses afloat.
What we are collecting here is not enough for us, comparing with the fuel we are buying. We are just collecting money from passengers, going with empty pocket. Most of the time, when we collect money here, you see the money, and when we buy for finish, no, it's anything. You know, so we go with empty pockets. We are working. We are don't pay for this for what do you call it? For subsidy.
Say before, when he came here, you can't see any motor again. You have plenty customer. They came here, they just went to the back because they don't increase money for fuel. There's no money to pay.
To alhamdulillah ba za a ce akwai wani ce ba ba kamar yanayin shekarun baya ba abin da ya riga ya canza yanzu gashi ba kuɗi hannun jama'a ga mai ya tashi ga kuɗin mota ya ƙara ƙaruwa.
They are calling on the federal government to intervene by reducing the pump price of fuel, noting that the current economic realities are placing significant strain on their operations.
Please, I'm begging from the deepest part of my heart, please help us. Let's see what we can do about this fuel scarcity, and let's just help ourselves because we are also part of a country that produces fuel. We have fuel as our own natural resources.
The government let them increase the fuel to be a normal how the fuel before the.
There's nothing if they can subsidize the fuel for the drivers at least so that the commuters can be able to afford the transportation because most people cannot afford this 13,000 as even small as it is.
Let them reduce the fuel to normal price it is before. At least that time we are managing it. No matter how it is, we go home with something, with a peanut. But now we are going with nothing. From Okene to here, end of the day, I'll go out with my 5,000 naira. Doesn't make sense.
Me, the two I want them to do now, I beg, please and please, anything where they go do, better just reduce money for this fuel for them. Because that's the worst problem for this our country. This fuel matter, if say the fuel, when they say they don't come out the subsidy, five something, they are going to manage it. You see people that are traveling.
To ni kira gwamnati yanzu da shugabanninmu da tausaya mana a duba mana da Allah wannan yana da al'umma cikin yanzu a taimaka a duba al'umma a tausaya musu mannan da ya riga ya tashi ya sako tun da yanayin tashin mai ne sa abin da ya riga ya canza kudin mota ya riga ya tashi tafiya ta gagarin mutane to a tausaya a duba mana da Allah rage mannan da dama za zama ya yi kasa.
Observers say the development reflects the broader economic challenges facing many Nigerians, particularly during festive periods when travel demand is typically high. Amid the euphoria of the Eid al-Fitr celebration, many Nigerians are hoping for relief that will enable families to always reunite without excessive financial burden. In Abuja, Josephine Bitrus, Rapid TV News.
Amid the Salah celebrations, Abuja's markets are experiencing fewer customers than expected, even with price reductions on many food items. Our correspondent Linda Ike reports from Tako Market on the impact of falling prices and tight household budget.
Despite lower food prices, customer turnout remains low this Salah as many shoppers struggle with tight budgets. Traders at Abuja's Tako Market report lower prices for items such as bags of rice, spices, garri and meat compared to last year. However, many note that buyers are staying home due to tight household budgets worsened by rising fuel prices, which increase transportation costs. Some traders say fewer people are visiting the market than in previous years, citing high living costs as the main reason for low sales.
No increase, not the same. It's why they said last year, now they said this year. People they talk, say money no deal, they complain. Since when I don't see anybody now. I never see a person. They have no money for town. Because people they talk say na fuel, na kosan.
Ana zuwa alhamdulillah ana sai amma dai sinikin ba wai kamar da ba yanda ake yi sosai yanda ya kamata. Tunda yanzu kin ga yanda ake sayan kayan kamar shekarar da ta wuce ba kamar yanzu ba gaskiya. Tunda kamar ana jibi sallah ko gobe sallah amma cinikin yanda ka san ba ma gobe sallah ba ko jibi sallah. Cinikin ya dan yi kasa.
So customers there now go no about before they start to do this passing. As I see this passing, when they come, before customers don't they complain, see customers, they come buy plenty lot. But this kind of salary is first customers made them pull the market. But up to now, nothing there for this market, I swear. Customers know they enter, I swear. Like say, pouring or local, you know, say not different. Pouring, last year you don't reach like 75, 80 massive. Local, you don't reach like 60, 65 to 60, 50.
Other vendors revealed that chicken, tomatoes, and pepper remain expensive due to supply shortages, driving up the cost of these essential items.
People are patronizing, but it's not as last year, honestly. And the price of this year is a bit higher compared to last year. That may be the change of the oil price.
Big basket tomato cost 55,000. Let's say 35. Yes, this year the price off. Even pepper and this year it cost past last year.
Meanwhile, buyers offered mixed views. Some say prices are still high, while others find certain goods more affordable. Many suggested government subsidies on transport and basic foods to boost market activity before festivities.
In regards to the prices of things in the market, I would say for this market, the prices are quite fair. With the expectations I had in mind for a budget I had in mind, I was able to buy a little above what I wanted to. So being new to the environment and new to the market as well, I would say the prices are fair. The government should do better for its citizens.
Even if you want to go and buy plantain for here, now no any small like 3,000, everything is rice. Now government know what to do about it. Me, I don't know. They have to bring everything down.
With budgets tight and prices fluctuating, the festive season poses real challenges for Nigerians. Families and traders alike are hoping for relief that will allow everyone to celebrate without undue hardship. Linda Ike, Rapid TV News.
Meanwhile, an APC support group, BAT's 4x4 Renewed Hope agenda, has extended Eid al-Fitr greetings to Nigerians, commending Muslims for their month-long Ramadan fasting. The group also joined the federal government in wishing citizens a joyous festive season, following the declaration of March 19th and 20th, 2026 as public holidays. In the press release, Director General Engineer Daniel Yomoba praised Muslims' perseverance and urged them to live by Ramadan's teachings. He reiterated the group's support for President Bola Tinubu's 2027 re-election, highlighting the administration achievements such as the military salary increment. The group also lauded FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, calling him a pride of the Renewed Hope administration. Meanwhile, as preparations continue for the nationwide state and zonal inauguration, National Director of Organizing Otumba Oluwasami Ajayi directed states and zonal secretaries to submit executive list for documentation. Security agencies have heightened surveillance and deployed thousands of personnel nationwide ahead of this weekend's Eid al-Fitr celebrations. Officers have been stationed at Eid prayer grounds, mosques, shopping malls, recreational centers, markets, motor parks, amusement parks, and key locations housing critical national infrastructure to ensure public safety. The large-scale deployment, particularly across northern states and the Federal Capital Territory, follows Monday's multiple bomb explosions in Maiduguri, Borno State, which left at least 23 people dead and 108 others injured. Meanwhile, the Sultan of Sokoto has urged Muslims to watch for the crescent moon signaling the end of Ramadan, as the federal government has declared Thursday, March 19th and Friday, March 20th, 2026 as public holidays to mark Eid al-Fitr and the beginning of Shawwal. Journalists and newsroom leaders from across southern Nigeria have taken part in a two-day capacity-building workshop focused on investigative journalism, newsroom sustainability, and human rights reporting in Lagos. The training, organized by the Center for Journalism Innovation and Development with support from the Norwegian Embassy, brought together reporters and editors from the Southwest, Southeast, and South-South regions. The workshop aimed to strengthen investigative reporting skills, deepen understanding of governance and electoral processes, and equipped media organizations with strategies for long-term sustainability. Our correspondent Owoka Kinsley reports.
Generally, under international law, international humanitarian law, civilians ought not to be targeted in situations of armed conflict, but journalists occupy a special position. So as civilians, journalists are entitled to the same protection afforded to civilian population during armed conflict.
Speaking during the training, the CJID project manager for conflict, security and human rights, Sefa Ipa, said the training is aimed at strengthening newsroom to redefine their reporting approach with emphasis on accountability journalism.
We hope to see a media that's very strengthened. And that's because you cannot disconnect a strengthened media from a resilient democracy. So over 2 days, today and tomorrow, we're going to be talking to a number of newsroom managers from the southern parts of Nigeria on how to refine their reporting and to reclaim their role as the gatekeepers of democracy in Nigeria. We are looking for a media that is able to be an accountability watchdog for our government. I mean, anywhere in the world, I mean, citizens, yes, but the media speaks for the masses.
Also speaking, the CJID Director of Program, Akintunde Babatunde, noted that the training is designed to sustain localized, impactful story from particularly newsroom.
An intervention that CJID developed with support from the Norwegian Embassy in Nigeria. What we wanted to do is we identified that a lot of journalists, a lot of news organizations in Nigeria, they are doing a lot, but sometimes you get to read good stories from a particular news organization, but you realize that those things are not sustainable. So we decided to launch this approach to have a two-way process where we would have a convening like we are having today with newsroom leaders, journalists, representatives of news organization, and then to talk about different areas of journalism, investigations, data, solutions, and then sustainability, business enterprise.
Some participants who spoke at the workshop said the training will improve their skills, particularly in investigative reporting, human rights coverage, and newsroom sustainability.
At the end of this training, I'm going to go back, more refreshed, than I came, with the skills and the tools that I need to, tell even deeper stories that concern human rights reporting, particularly in the Southeast region, of course, where I'm based, where it's looking like issues around human rights are underreported.
Everything we do in the newsroom, because it's not just reporting about what doesn't work, it's about reporting what works or how what doesn't work should work going forward.
I am a development and social impact journalist, so what is happening here is another perspective to the work I'm already doing. So it's now to elevate my work higher.
As the intensive training comes to a close, it is clear that the future of journalism depends on courage, ethics, and innovation. Reporting from Lagos, Kinsley Onwuka, Rapid TV.
Tensions are rising at the Impori Police Barracks in Lagos as residents allege forceful evasion and demand fair compensation along with more time to relocate. The residents are calling on both the federal and Lagos state governments to intervene, insisting that the current arrangements are inadequate and inequitable. Earlier this week, wives of police officers staged a protest on the streets of Lagos, expressing their frustration over the eviction process. While some residents say they received 1 million naira as compensation and others 2 million, they argue that the disparity is unjust and are urging authorities to ensure equal compensation and extend the deadline to ease their transition. Our correspondent Esther Umelu reports.
Our husband cannot protect. Our children, wife, younger one, they have right to talk. Our husband cannot say anything because if our husband say anything, they are going to shoot them. That's our husband can say.
These are wives of police officers, residents of Ipori Police Barrack, who have been asked to vacate the barracks. This structure has been in existence for decades, and for these women, it is home. However, with the recent eviction notice, the women are left to fend for themselves. Some of the residents told Rapid TV some persons were given 1 million naira, while some other persons were given 2 million naira as compensation to vacate the building. Recently, they took to the street of Lagos, asking for enough time to vacate and equal compensation for everyone.
For the past 2 years, some people came to the barrack and gave us some form that we should feel they want to pay us to leave the barracks. So for that 2 years, they have been going to other barracks. Example of the barracks they went to is Obalende Barracks, Ije Barracks, Falomo Barracks. So they went there and then they paid them off and then they scattered the place. And at initial time, the plan was that they would scatter the barracks one after the other. When they build it, then they will take us from one barracks to the one they have built. So, but when they started scattering the place, they didn't do according to the plan. They just scattered the place and then left it there, and then they continue breaking the other barracks. 2 Sundays ago, I went to church. When I came back, I was told they came to this barrack that we should fill form, that they want to pay us to leave the barracks, share the form to everybody. So when you share the form, we start filling the form. So day before yesterday, while we were asleep, we saw some people started seeing a lot. Some saw 2 million, some saw 1 million. So that was what get us angry, that triggered us for the protest yesterday.
This is Shukurat Wahab, a mother of 5 who has lived in a single room in the police barracks for the past 10 years. She shared with Rapid TV the challenges and difficulties securing housing outside the barracks as a family of a police officer.
One, they give us 1 million. Is it money to park out, or money for motor, or money for changing my children's school? We tried yesterday, not that we like to prepare, but we see that nobody, if you did not do that yesterday, nobody is going to hear our voice. One, I have 5 children. I want to relocate. For me and our car vehicle to come and park my load, he will charge me 300,000. I'm going to change 5 children's school, change uniform, buy textbook out of the 1 million. Please, so my noise to Nigeria, they should come and complete our money. Without of that, we are not going to lift.
We will go to CP because CP promised us we should calm down and we honor him, we respect him due to his position. Then we come, because now like this we don't have any hope and we have nowhere to go, and that is what we will be doing, pushing people outside like rats. It doesn't make any sense. We are not saying, we didn't say we are not going, we are going, but they should just consider us. If there is no find something to do about this issue, we are still going to protest. Anything that's going to happen, we will stand on it.
Rapid TV inquired to know the agency handling and executing the eviction. However, residents could not tell because it was not clear who was given the instruction. As at the time of filing this report, no government official was on site to respond. For these women, their demands are simple: give them extra time to plan and pay equal amounts to residents to ease the burden of relocation. Esther Omelo, Rapid TV, Lagos.
Meanwhile, lawmakers in the Abia State House of Assembly are moving to address the rising illegal occupation of public spaces across the state. The Assembly is debating a motion urging government to reclaim lands originally designated for recreation and environmental purposes, but now converted to residential and commercial use. Our correspondent Fit Kevin reports.
Abia State House of Assembly has debated a motion urging the state government to reclaim open spaces illegally occupied across cities in the state. The motion, titled HAB 48, was moved by Uchonye Stephen Akachuku, Honorable Member representing Aba Central State Constituency. The lawmaker said many areas originally designated for recreation and environmental protection have been converted to commercial and residential use.
The motion I am about to present aims to protect and preserve government-designated open spaces in the states and to ensuring that the intended purposes and benefits to the people. Therefore, motion for the state government to reclaim open spaces in Abia State. Whereas the government of Abia State in the time past have designated certain areas as open spaces for recreational purposes, green areas, and environmental friendly initiatives.
He called on the state government to identify and reclaim such spaces and ensure they are protected from further encroachment. Supporting the motion, a lawmaker said reclaiming the spaces would promote environmental sustainability and improve the outlook of cities.
This motion is to encourage, most especially what His Excellency Dr. Lesot is doing in Aba today, so that Aba will look like a city. And such as Abia State, such as Umuahia, the central state, which is the capital, also need to look like a state capital.
Also lending his voice, Deputy Speaker and Honorable Member representing Umuahia East, Austin Merigini, noted that several public spaces in cities like Aba and Umuahia have gradually been converted into markets and motor parks.
It is important that this motion is given serious attention because across our cities, not only Aba, I'm sure Umuahia is also affected. We witness a situation whereby open spaces have been inappropriately occupied. I would rather say illegally occupied. Mr. Speaker, considering the huge benefits of these open spaces, I think we need to give feeling.
However, Anderson Akaliro, member representing Umuahia North constituency, cautioned that implementing the exercise immediately could create tension due to economic hardship and the current political climate.
Why I agree with my brother on this motion, I want to disagree a little bit on the timing of the said motion. Mr. Speaker, reclaiming these spaces, they are quite okay. But Mr. Speaker, we'll have to look at some critical things. There is hunger in the land currently. We can afford to start something we cannot finish now. We can't give room to our opposition to start dragging us right from center and back.
Supporters of the motion insisted that the government must act to protect public spaces from illegal encroachment. Faith Kevin, reporting for Rapid TV News.
Still watching Rapid Television News. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, the news continues shortly. Stay with us.
Dr. Joseph. My name is Martha Alu.
My name is Victor Arki.
My name is Divine Alex.
My name is Esther Ben.
My name is Arthur James Bruce.
My name is Godwin Sunday.
I am Ijoma Victor.
My name is Cynthia Agbo.
Josephine Bichu.
I bet you already know that this is
Rapid Television.
This is Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN. We connect people, power stories, and amplify voices. On Rapid TV, we're rooted in culture and your window to the stories that matter. From news to lifestyle, we inform, entertain, and uplift. Join Rapid TV on StarTimes Channel 176, Nightcomsat. On Rapid FM, we speak your language from the soulful airwaves of Umuahia to the vibrant culture of Port Harcourt and beyond. More than broadcasters, we're creators, amplifying that voice within with powerful content across TV, radio, and digital. Join us at rbnradiotv.com and all our social media handles. One network, one voice. Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN, the sound of your city. Rooted in truth, driven by impact.
In a world where every swipe, click, or tap is shaping our future, technology is no longer a distant dream. It is the heartbeat of Africa and the world at large. From innovations to gadgets, to startups and digital lifestyle, Tech Up with Victor takes you round. A show that makes technology simple, practical, and exciting for everyone. Join us every week on Rapid TV as we break down tech trends, spotlight African innovators, and connect Africa's digital story to the global stage. Tech Up with Victor, where innovation meets you.
If you're just joining us, you're still watching Rapid Television News. Now let's move on to some business stories. The Central Bank of Nigeria is set to conduct its tax treasury bills auction for the month, offering a total of 1.05 trillion naira for subscription amid a liquidity surplus in the financial system. The auction, to be conducted through the Debt Management Office, will feature 3 maturities, including 91-day bills valued at 100 billion naira, 182-day bills worth 150 billion naira, and 364-day instruments totaling 800 billion naira. The move is part of ongoing efforts by the federal government to manage short-term borrowing while providing investment opportunities in the fixed income market. Meanwhile, analysts project strong investor participation driven by the high liquidity and attractive real returns in the market. At the previous auction, the Apex Bank allotted over 900 billion naira out of nearly 2.8 trillion naira in total subscriptions, reflecting sustained investor confidence. With inflation showing signs of easing, market watchers anticipate a possible moderation in interest rates as authorities aim to reduce borrowing costs. Recent data indicates that spot rates on long-term bills have slightly declined, while shorter tenors remain stable, suggesting a gradual repricing of fixed income securities in response to evolving macroeconomic conditions. Up next, more business report coming your way.
Nigeria's financial markets are showing mixed but notable signals, from currency movement to stock market gains, while global markets react to rising oil prices and geopolitical tensions. Here's a roundup of key business stories. The Naira continued its appreciation against the United States dollar at the official foreign exchange market, strengthening to 1,357.77 Naira per kobo, according to central bank data. This represents a gain of 8 Naira for the 6 kobo compared to last Friday's rate. However, at the prior markets, the currency weakened slightly to 1,430 Naira per dollar, reflecting mixed sentiment across forex segments. The development comes as Nigeria's inflation rate eased to 15.06% in February, while foreign reserves rose to over $50 billion, signaling improving macroeconomic indicators. While currency markets show mixed performance, investors in the equities markets are recording significant gains. The investors on the Nigerian exchange recorded a major boost, gaining 1.97 trillion naira in a single trading session as the all-share index crossed the 201,000 point mark for the first time. The benchmark index rose by 1.55%, closing at 201,474.89 points. Market capitalization also climbed to 129.3 trillion naira, driven by strong buying interest across key sectors. Market sentiment remained positive, with notable gains in stocks like Bua Cement, while trading activities stayed robust, led largely by financial services stocks. Meanwhile, on the global stage, markets are reacting to rising oil prices and ongoing geopolitical tensions. The European stock market traded higher on Tuesday, with the Pan-European index posting modest gains despite a sharp rise in oil prices. Energy utilities and auto stocks led the rally, while technology shares lagged behind. Oil prices climbed above $100 per barrel amid renewed concerns over supply disruptions linked to tensions in the Middle East. Investors are also closely watching central bank signals, particularly from the U.S. Federal Reserve, as uncertainty around interest rate decisions continues to shape global market sentiment. And that wraps up the latest business updates. I am Divine Alex, bringing you developments across markets at home and around the world. Good evening. Now the Rapid TV News Hour continues. Please stay with us.
Now to international developments. Tensions in the Middle East have escalated further, with Israel claiming responsibility for the killing of Iran's intelligence minister, Ismail Khatib, in an overnight strike. Although Iranian authorities are yet to officially confirm the developments, the reported killing comes amid a series of high-profile attacks that have allegedly claimed the lives of other senior Iranian figures within a short period. In response, Iran launched fresh missile strikes targeting Israeli cities, including Tel Aviv, as hostilities between both nations continue to intensify. Furthermore, the conflict has expanded across the region, with Israeli strikes reported in parts of Iran and Lebanon, while retaliatory attacks have also targeted Israeli territory, resulting in casualties on both sides. Additional incidents have been reported in Iraq, where the United States Embassy in Baghdad came under attack as several Gulf countries intercepted drones and missiles within their airspace. Despite the growing tensions, Iran's foreign minister insists that the country's political structure remains stable and resilient. However, with rising casualties and increasing military exchanges, global concerns continue to mount over the risk of a broader regional conflict. Elsewhere in Africa, President Denis Sassou Nguesso of the Republic of Congo has been re-elected for a fifth consecutive term, securing over 94% of the vote, according to provisional results announced by the authorities. The victory extent is more than 4-decade grip on power in the oil-rich Central African nation. Interior Minister Raymond Zephirin Mbwalo announced the results on national television, stating that voter turnout stood at over 84%. Despite the official figures, reports from parts of the capital, Brazzaville, indicated low voter turnout, with many residents expressing skepticism about the credibility of the electoral process. In addition, the election has drawn criticism from opposition groups and observers, some of whom boycotted the polls over alleged irregularities and lack of transparency. President Sassou Nguesso, who first came to power in 1979 and returned after a civil war in 1997, has defended the outcome, describing it as a reflection of the people's confidence in his leadership. However, concerns persist over governance, rising national debt, and widespread poverty, particularly among young people. The final results are still subject to approval by the Constitutional Court, even as debates continue over democratic accountability and political longevity on the continent. Cuba scrambled to restore power following a nationwide blackout that plunged the island into darkness just as U.S. President Donald Trump declared they would take control of the country. Authorities did not specify the cause of the outage, one of the latest in a long series of frequent power disruptions, but reported that by Tuesday morning, roughly 2/3 of the nation had electricity restored. Adding to the tension, a 5.8 magnitude earthquake struck off Cuba's coast early Tuesday. No immediate reports of casualties or damage emerged. After nearly 7 decades of defying the United States, Havana's communist government faces mounting pressure from the Trump administration, which has signaled a more aggressive stance towards the highland. The president's remarks represent one of his clearest threats yet, coming just 90 miles from Florida and add to the climate of uncertainty for residents already grappling with economic hardship and political isolation. Up next is the entertainment segment.
From music struggles to comedy debates and a post-Oscars controversy, here's the latest stories shaping the entertainment scene. Nigerian singer Portable has raised concern over low earnings from digital streaming platforms despite consistently releasing music. In a recent video, the Zazu Kroner said his Apple Music revenue remains disappointing. He appealed to Don Jazzy for guidance on improving his income, questioning why his global fan base is not translating into better returns, even as he continues to drop songs regularly. Meanwhile, a conversation around wealth in the entertainment industry is stirring reactions online. Content creator Shank Comics has sparked debate after claiming comedians and modern musicians. Speaking during a live stream, he argued that public perception is skewed by the flashy lifestyle often displayed by music stars. He cited comedians like Bowie and Basketmouth as being wealthier than top artists, noting that many comedians prioritize investment over luxury spending, unlike some of their counterparts in the music industry. And on the global stage, a post-awards incident has drawn a strong response from organizers. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences has condemned an incident involving Teyana Taylor and a security guard after the Oscars ceremony in Los Angeles. The actress was reportedly stopped from re-entering the stage, prompting a heated exchange. The Academy apologized and assured that such behavior is unacceptable despite the security being handled by an external firm. Taylor later acknowledged the support as organizers promised steps to prevent the recurrence of the incident. And that's your entertainment updates.
Let's move on to sports now. Super Eagles head coach Eric Chelle has unveiled a 23-man squad for Nigerians' upcoming international friendlies against Iran and Jordan, with notable omissions and fresh inclusions shaping the list. First choice goalkeeper Stanley Wabeli was left out following his recent club uncertainty after parting ways with Chippa United, creating an opportunity for Maduka Okoye, Adebayo Adele and Francis Uzoho to compete for the #1 position. The squad retains key players such as Captain Wilfred Ndidi, Alex Nwobi and Ademola Lukman, alongside other regulars expected to provide experience and stability. Meanwhile, the list also features new call-ups, including defender Emmanuel Fernandez, as well as attackers Philip Oteli and Yira So, who will be hoping to impress on the international stage. The team will face Iran on March 27th before taking on Jordan on March 31st, with both matches scheduled to be played in Antalya, Turkey, following security concerns in the Middle East. The fixtures are expected to serve as important preparation for future competitions as the coaching crew assesses squad depth and explores tactical options ahead of major tournaments. Morocco have been officially declared winners of the 2025 African Cup of Nations after the Confederation of African Football, CAF, overturned the result of the final following Senegal's controversial walk-off. The match held on 18 January saw Senegal beat Morocco 0 in extra time, but it was overshadowed when Senegalese players initially refused to continue after Morocco was awarded a stoppage time penalty, while the score was still goalless. After a 17-minute delay, play resumed. Brahim Daziz's penalty was saved, and Senegal's Pape Gueye eventually scored the extra time winner. However, CAF's appeal board later annulled the result. In a statement, the governing body declared Senegal to have forfeited the final match, recording a 3-0 victory in favor of Morocco. The Senegalese Football Federation has vowed to appeal the decision at the Court of Arbitration for Sport, calling it unfair, unprecedented, and unacceptable, warning that the ruling damages the reputation of African football and undermines the spirit of the competition. And that's about the size of the news tonight. But before we go, a recap of our major stories. Tinubu gets ceremonial welcome at Windsor Castle. Service chiefs arrived Maiduguri after deadly attack. CBN to flout 1.05 trillion naira in treasury bills. In the news, we also told you that Congo president re-elected with over 94% vote. And in sport, Wabeli dropped a Super Eagles name squad for friendlies. Thanks very much for being with us tonight. On behalf of the production team, I am Godwin Amundi. Do have yourself a lovely and beautiful night rest.
Joseph. Name is Martha Alu.
My name is Victor Arke.
My name is Divine Alex.
My name is Esther Ben.
My name is Arthur James Bruce. My name is Godwin Sunday.
I am Ijoma Victor.
My name is Cynthia Agbo.
Josephine Bitrus.
I bet you already know that this is
Rapid Television.
Time is power. Our lives are powered by the sun. As the sun rises, so do we. As we trust it to rise and set without any worries interrupting your morning with our hybrid all-in-one inverter, powering our prosperity and happiness.
Sustainable future, breaking the shell. Start time solar.
But also nurture what is dear to us, powering trust and support.